Hello, welcome to Pursuit of Perfect System. My name's Terry Ellis. I'm an audio reviewer and a Dirac Live Calibrator. And in this video, I'm just going to have a little chat with you and essentially review the Bristol HiFi Show 2019. If you're a regular to the channel, if you've been following the Bristol HiFi Show coverage, I'm about halfway through the video coverage. Now, I was there for the full weekend. I got down to Bristol late Thursday night, so I was filming early Friday morning, and before the show was even opened, I had a meeting with Lemur Acoustics and I made the video about their subwoofers, and specifically really to look at the new Predator subwoofer, the 1508, their flagship new home theatre subwoofer. And for a company like Rel that's been making subwoofers for, I don't know, 30 or 40 years, to have a new subwoofer line is quite an interesting one really, because you think, well, a subwoofer's a subwoofer, it's a bass box as they call it, but this is a different subwoofer for Rel. It's a home theatre only subwoofer, because normally Rel subwoofers are designed for music and they have a high level input. You know, the Rel way of doing things is a little bit different. So the Predator 1508 subwoofer is really designed to take on head-to-head companies like SVS and JO Audio with their big sealed home cinema subwoofer. So that was a really interesting one. And following that, I did not stop filming for about 10 hours a day through Friday, Saturday and Sunday. So I really worked hard and I tried to cover as much of the show as I possibly could. Now, I created a pre-show warm-up video, which if you haven't seen, I suggest go and watching it, and obviously I'll link it up there, because I spoke about different floors and all the different rooms and all the different exhibitors that were at the show this year. There was a hell of a lot of different exhibitors. And I mentioned in that video that you could easily have spent a whole day on just one floor. And that is totally true. I can tell you that for facts, because when you're trying to film it, when you look back at the end of the day and you think, how many rooms did I cover? How much time did I spend in each room? I spend about the same amount of time in each room as an average attendee would do, and I did exactly what I suggested in that video. I tried to stay in the room for at least 2 different songs. Now, I'm not using 2 songs for every single video for the coverage, because I feel the videos will get really long, and I feel like probably one song is pretty much enough for you to get a feel for what that system was like. I think it's more important you get a little bit of a taste of what the system was sounding like, but you also get to see what the manufacturers did or what the exhibitors did, how they set up the systems, which way round in the rooms they've gone, what sources were they using, what cables were they using, what speaker stands and speaker racks were they using. So you can get some idea of what the exhibitors or manufacturers are putting together as systems, kind of what system synergies they're going for, and then what the ultimate result of sound quality was like. And I think one of the great strengths of the Bristol show is its variety, and that's exactly what I've tried to do with the Bristol show coverage. If you look at it and the way I've structured, the way I've created the videos, every single one's different. We've got long full demonstrations from people like Kef and Bowers and Wilkins. Then we've got short chatty type videos from some of the other exhibitors, mixed in with just some open room demonstrations where they're playing music, because that is essentially what the Bristol HiFi Show is, and that's essentially what a lot of HiFi shows are. It's a mixture. Sometimes they're closed room demonstrations and sometimes they're just open room. Now, sometimes I'm lucky enough to get people from the exhibitors or manufacturers to come on camera and have a little chat about the systems. That's never pre-organised, with the exception obviously of the Rel Acoustics videos. That was a little bit different. The clips that I film and the bits where people are speaking, that's never organised, it's never pre-arranged. So I'm asking people from the manufacturers to just go straight on camera with no time or no preparation and just tell us a little bit about the system. So bear that in mind when you watch the videos, and be grateful, and I am certainly grateful when people from the manufacturers come on camera, talk about the systems, because I always feel like those videos are a little bit more powerful. But in saying that, I think it's nice sometimes to just have a good look around the room, see the systems that's playing, and have a listen to the music that they're playing, or the style, or the way it's presented, and you can get a feel. And the big thing for me this year was to try and get the audio quality up to match the video quality, and I'm sure you will agree, from an audio quality point of view, this is the highest show coverage that I've done so far. And I think that was because I was monitoring the recording side of things pretty much the whole time. So I spent most of the show with actually earphones in my ears, just so that I could make sure I was trying to get the camera and microphones, which are attached to the camera, in the best possible spot for listening. But there's always a caveat with that. Sometimes the layout of the rooms, where the seats are, where I want to put the camera and the microphones for the best audio quality, means you actually can't see much except the backs of people's heads. So sometimes I have to make, an on-the-spot, quick executive decision. Do I leave the camera and microphones in a bad spot for the video, or do I try and find an alternative spot where you can see the system, see the speakers, and get some sort of reflection of the audio? So bear that in mind when you're looking at the videos and it's moving around, it's bobbing around a little bit. That's me trying to find kind of like an audio sweet spot combined with a video sweet spot, which is bloody difficult. But it's also indicative of what a show is like. Shows are often quite difficult to get yourself in a good spot. They're busy shows, especially this year was extremely busy. There was people queuing down the road, as there always is, queuing to get in Friday, Saturday and Sunday. So it's not always possible to get yourself in a room, get yourself sat in the middle. And even if you do get yourself sat in the middle, there's always a good chance someone's going to sit down right in front of you and ruin the shot, which that happens to me quite often. It always makes me laugh every single time. But I have to bear in mind, I'm an attendee of the show just like everybody else. Everybody who's there has paid their money. They have the right to come into every room, sit themselves down in the spot they want to sit in, and get themselves their own personal listening experience, which is what a show is. It's a way of hearing lots of different systems all in 1, 2 or 3 days, which is really difficult / impossible to do. Even if you visit a really high quality dealership, there's just not the time to keep changing systems around so that you get to hear as much variety as you can at a hi-fi show. So what did I think of the hi-fi show in terms of its overall sound quality? Well, I think this year it was probably the best year overall for sound quality. Now that could be because a lot of the manufacturers and exhibitors this year were demonstrating premium or high quality or sometimes quite high-end systems. Don't get me wrong, there were still some very affordable systems on display that were sounding really good. For example, the video I've literally just created for the IAG group room, which this year was Wharfdale speakers, the kind of classic looking Denton speakers with the Audiolab 6000 range. Now I'll put that video up as a 2K system, because if you had the CD player, the integrated amplifier and the speakers, it would be a 2K system. Someone mentioned about would that be including all the cables and racks and stuff. Of course not, but I was just trying to get the point across, because this year's show had a lot of more premium systems in it, costing in the many multiples of thousands. A 2K system sounding as good as it did, it was in a way quite a standout system, kind of in reverse. Now again, as you look across the rest of the show videos, there was other more affordable products on display, like Kef, for example, demonstrating their little tiny Lsx speakers. Now, when you bear in mind that's £1,000 speaker, DAC, amplifier, streamer combination, really could be classed as sexy. I think they're sexy anyway, little speakers, full package for under or about £1,000. That is really outstanding value when you consider kind of the style factor that's thrown in as well. Bowers & Wilkins were demonstrating their full 600 range of speakers. Now what was interesting about that demonstration is when they first started playing songs with the bookshelf speakers, I think everyone was really impressed by just how good the older 600 range speakers sounded and how much better the new 600 range speakers sounded. And then they said how much the speakers cost, about £400. And I think everybody looked around and was like, bloody hell, that's exceptional sound for £400. But as they moved up the range, up to the more expensive, bigger floor standing speakers, then things really started to get a lot better. Bowers & Wilkins always do really good demonstrations. When they do closed room demonstrations like this year, they did a fantastic 700 range, similar demonstration last year that I filmed, which I'll actually link that up there. I've made that a 3-part series. It's been extremely popular. The guys there always do really good demonstrations. But for me, the surprise, the big surprise of the show was in the Bowers & Wilkins room, and it didn't come in the form I expected to. At the end of the demonstration, they threw in a massive curveball. Now up on the wall in front of everybody was a big TV, a 65-inch TV, which turned out to be one of the new Philips OLED Plus TVs, which Bowers & Wilkins have been working with to create the included sound, aka kind of like a sound bar that's attached to the bottom. And when Steve from Bowers & Wilkins said they was going to move over to demonstrating the soundbar on the TV, I think everybody looked at each other and thought, what the bloody hell was going on here? But actually, the sound quality from that soundbar on the bottom of a TV, after you've just been listening to, you know, big floor standing speakers, was massively impressive. You didn't obviously get the bass scale and stuff out of it like you did the big speakers, but it was still mighty impressive because it was clean, clear, controlled, and effortless sounding from a bloody soundbar in a huge, great big room, big enough for maybe 30 or 40 people, playing over the top of a Dyson fan that the guys had running in there the whole time. Think about how impressive that is, really, when you think about it. Now, that video I created separately. Thought it might be as much of an interest to TV enthusiasts as home theatre or IV or hi-fi enthusiasts. And if you haven't watched that video, definitely go and watch it. I'll link it up there because it's a really interesting one. So what else at the show did I find interesting? Well, because I've attended the show for many years consecutively, it's always interesting when there's kind of a jumble around of rooms. Now, what actually happens is one room becomes available, one manufacturer moves into that room, and then other manufacturers get kind of dibs on the different rooms. Now, for the last couple of years, PMC were up on the first floor, and they kind of had like a middle room. It's kind of like two rooms in one, which gave them a lovely big space to work in. And last year, I think they demonstrated the brand new flagship Fenestria speakers in there. So it gives you some idea of the size of that room. But in that space this year was Spendor and Auralic. I filmed in that room several times. Unfortunately, I made the schoolboy error of not hitting the record button for the first time I was in there, which is a shame because I got a really different contrasting style of music being played. It was literally a case of every time you walk past that room, the presence of that system, the sound scale of that system, and I think the volume of that system as well, was just totally engaging. But engaging in a good way. It was sounding sweet, it was sounding smooth, and it was sounding lively and exciting. Now, when I actually came to filming there properly, and the footage and the video that I was able to use, because I actually pressed the record button, was actually playing some dance music, was playing some psy trance music, but from a DJ called Asterix, which I've now actually fell in love with. I've been listening to all different songs from his different albums and some full hour long plus mixes that DJ has done. And you know, that sort of music's not everybody's cup of tea. But I just want to point something out here. If you look across all the videos that I've created for all the different shows that I've visited, there's a common theme of people leaving comments. Now, they complain about the style of music all the bloody time. So, you know, a manufacturer can't win if they play jazz, a manufacturer can't win if they play London Grammar, a manufacturer can't win if they play psytrance. There is literally no pleasing everybody, and you have to factor that in. Across a hi-fi show, through 3 full days, all manner, styles and different genres of music's played, and it can be all those different styles of genres can be played in a single room. Now, when I go into that room, and especially if it's an open room demo type situation, whatever's playing at that time is what I just happen to record. It's not pre-organised. I don't go in there and set these things up. I literally walk in the room just the same as if you walked into the room at the hi-fi show as a visitor. That to me is the most authentic way really to do a video coverage. So the fact that I was playing some psytrance in the Spendor room was really quite a play on things, really. When you think about it, you're looking at a set of what look like kind of classic speakers. They are from the company's classic range. They look old school, they look old fashioned, but at the same time they was kicking out kind of like very modern, punchy dance music, and it was really engaging. If you look around the room on the video, there's lots of people in there. None of them are young. They're all kind of middle-aged and older, and they was all just sitting in there enjoying the music. And again, that's the whole point of a hi-fi show. You're going to listen to systems that you're not familiar with for the experience of it, and why not listen to music styles that you're not familiar with either? It might not be your cup of tea, but you can listen to it for one song or more and just get a feel for it, see if you enjoy it. Because like me, I'd never heard of Asterix before. Now I can't stop playing his music because it's really lively and upbeat and actually puts a smile on my face. And for me, that was a really impressive room. While we're talking about big shows, and while we're talking about PMC moving around, the Pmc demonstration was also extremely impressive. PMC as a company always put in a big effort to try and put on a really great show. They do their best to take you out of the fact that you're in a hotel room and try and put you in a demonstration room by blacking it all out with black curtains. This year they had metal trussing going all around the room and across the ceiling, so they could have a big projector hanging from above the crowd with a massive, great big projector screen and 4 Dolby Atmos speakers. And they were not small speakers, they were big speakers from the wafer range. Now, I actually filmed the full demonstration, about a 35-minute demonstration. Some of it wouldn't go through YouTube copyright, so I put together just a few little clips of what the system was like. And I luckily got to film a little private section with the guys from PMC. It was actually last thing on Sunday. So you can imagine how tired the guys are from saying the exact same thing all day, every day for 3 days. So, you know, fair play to them for the enthusiasm they put into it, because I can imagine at that point they just wanted to pack down and go home, just as I did. So I actually think the PMC video came out fantastic, considering I was recording a multi-channel system. And what it's done, it's inspired me and shown me a way actually of how I think I can record a full multi-channel system and a full Atmos multi-channel system. So something I'm looking to do. I'm looking to create more home cinema content for my own channel with my own review system, which is going to get pushed up to Atmos level hopefully soon. But if you can record multi-channel, I'm hoping it should give you the sense of kind of like a 3D surround sound effect, even through stereo speakers or headphones. I'm pretty confident that it will. So that's given me really a great idea and a method of how to do that. So anyway, the PMC room was really impressive. What else was impressive at the show? The Malvern research room, which actually had a really high-end system in it when you break it down. It had a £14,000 Lampsiator DAC, a £14,000 DAC. Think about that for a second. It was absolutely massive, with a whopping great big tube sticking out the top. It had a reel-to-reel tape player in there. I'm not sure how much that was, but it won't come cheap. It had £9,000 worth of amplifier, £2,000 worth of kind of digital reclocker, a £7,000 music server, like a PC music server, and other bits in there. A very high-end premium system. Now, the recording that I did for it was actually off the reel-to-reel tape player. Now, the night before, I actually finished recording in the room next to them, so I popped my head in there because that system with the horns, kind of like mini horn speakers, just looked nice and just looked interesting. So I put my head in there, had a chat with the guys, and they was playing some music off the music server. And I sat down and I put the camera down and I just sat and listened for 5 or 10 minutes, and I was really, really impressed. Well, the video that I created for that room that's in the channel, that was created the first thing the next day. So straight back in there, I was like, right, I want to video this system because it's really interesting. And I want to try and get in touch with those guys because I'd be really interested to review some of their products, some of their valve amplifiers, some of the Mingda amplifiers. I'd be really interested to review those. I'm sure yous at home would be interested to find out about those products, because Mingda, for example, are generally more affordable valve-based products that look really nice, and they look like the internals are really nice. And audio detail, which is part of Malvern research, they kind of do tweaks and upgrades to those. They should be even better than what they come from the factory, and you get like a long warranty as a result and stuff. So they looked really, really interesting to me as products. So I hope to be able to bring you reviews of those in the future. While we're talking about valves, there was a room there for Von Gaylord, which I think is a Chinese company. I apologise if I've got that wrong. That was really quite interesting because when I first walked into the room was full. And it was full of people sitting in silence, all sitting in chairs, but sitting in silence. Nobody was speaking, nobody was whispering. Everybody was just in awe and admiration of the sound quality of that system. Now, I don't know if the chap saw me come in with the big camera rig and put this music on purpose, or if it was just the next song that was queued up in the playlist or whatever. But listening to a Chinese manufactured equipment, listening to some kind of authentic Chinese music with the gongs that he used, and everybody knows what authentic Chinese music is. It was a real revelation. And someone left a message asking what did that system sound like. It sounded clean, it sounded clear, it sounded sweet, and it sounded, to me anyway, bloody impressive and bloody good. The sort of system you'd want to spend a lot of time with listening to see how it would make your style of music sound, and whether it can add anything extra and really bring that music to life. So yeah, I was really impressed with that room. Really impressed with those speakers and the equipment, the valve-based electronics and stuff. But again, they're about £18,000 speakers and expensive products. It's a high-end system in there. I want to mention one room. Now, it was sounding very, very good. Not the pinnacle of sound quality from the show, but I want to put a level of gratitude out to the chaps from Lemur Acoustics, because Andy Moore, who is director of Mian Audio Distribution, which are the UK distributors for Lemur Acoustics products. Now, he was running the demonstration when I went in there, and he was playing kind of Aussie rock, and just, I tell you what he was playing, just fun, lively, interesting music, turned up bloody loud. So that system was kind of rocking out when I walked in the door, and it was rocking out when I walked out of the door. And again, you know, at a hi-fi show, you can walk into rooms, they can have music barely above background listening levels, playing all orchestra and jazz and stuff like that. So to walk into a room where they're pumping out the tunes that you would least expect at a hi-fi show, fair play to them. That just shows me that they had masses of confidence in the quality of those tiny little bookshelf speakers to fill a room, sound clean and clear at high volumes, sound relaxed and controlled and precise, thanks to the Lemur Acoustics electronics, and it's actually sounding really punchy for small speakers as well, which is one of the things that Lemur Acoustics products do really well, really clean and clear, uncoloured, studio-esque type electronics that sound really punchy. Now I want to mention the monitor audio room from a video coverage point of view, because I filmed quite a nice demo in the monitor audio room. It's one of the early ones that I filmed on the Sunday morning. The chap there, I think his name was Steve, one of the UK sales reps, he went on camera, told us a little bit about the system, you know, and a look at the speakers. It was the new gold speakers that they was demonstrating, that it was actually the 100s at the time when I was in the room. Now I put the video together after, sadly it's the only one so far that from a music point of view has not made it through the YouTube copyright system. So unfortunately, I can't show the whole demonstration for the monitor audio gold speakers, which is a real shame because they're really lovely looking and good sounding speakers. A new speaker that's recently just come out. I'm sure everybody would be interested to look at that. So what I'll probably do is put up the video anyway. It might just have to be really short from a music demonstration point of view so that it makes it through the YouTube copyright okay, and that you get to see something for the monitor audio room, because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there really keen to know more about the speakers, see the speakers, and probably hear them through, you know, through the recording in some fashion. So I'm sure I'll do that, but just bear that in mind. If it's a short video from a recording point of view, that's why. I've been sitting here trying to rack my brains actually for what were the other standout rooms from this year's show. There were so many good rooms. I thought the standard of sound was very high. The standard of systems being used across the show was very high. I think a lot of the manufacturers made a really big effort to make the rooms look nice and to separate yourself from the fact that you was in a hotel room. Obviously each manufacturer does it in their own way. For example, people like Audio Quest black out the room and put you in a really quite tranquil and enclosed space when you go into their rooms. Other companies like Amphium and Hegel, for example, they make it feel more like a living room using IKEA type of furniture and make it feel probably more homely from that regard. Other manufacturers just kind of go with it and just go with the rooms that they've got. Put their speakers down in there. If you think about things that, you know, the manufacturers really don't have a lot of time to set up. They get there on the Thursday in the afternoon. They have the afternoon and the Thursday night to be all set up for, you know, attendees ready to come in at 10 o'clock the next day. So, you know, for all the manufacturers that do put in the effort and make the rooms look cool or really take away the fact that you're in a hotel room with the setup, I always applaud them for the effort they put in, because it is massive to get it done to that level in that short space of time. So just for my closing thoughts, I really enjoyed the Bristol Show 2019, and I hope for everybody who attended the show enjoyed it as well. There was a whole host of different systems there on display and on demonstration, from your small wireless speakers like your Harman Kardon Citations or your Yamaha or MusicCast products, right up to large speakers from Name Focal and big home cinema systems from PMC, with a whole host of more affordable and more high-end hi-fi products scattered in between, also with vinyl products, headphone products, a few TVs thrown in there for good measure as well. Literally something for everybody. It was definitely more hi-fi orientated, but there was still AV demonstrations there. AV demonstrations from Sony, AV demonstrations from PMC, AV demonstrations from Real Acoustics, AV demonstrations from SVS, and there possibly could be other AV demonstrations that I didn't get to see or didn't get to film. For anybody that might be considering attending next year, and if you're more of an AV kind of audio enthusiast or AV enthusiast yourself, there's still something there for you. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, a bit of a recap and a run over Bristol HiFi Show 2019. I really enjoyed attending it, filming it and recording it. I hope you're enjoying the video coverage that I've been created for it. There's loads more videos still to come. They do take quite a long time to produce at the high quality that I'm working at now, but you know, it's best to wait, get something out that's high quality than try and rush it out the door at a lower quality. So I hope you're enjoying it. If you haven't seen any of those videos, start at the beginning of the playlist, work your way through. There's something there for everybody. It's really high quality this year, and I hope you enjoy it. Now, next for us at Pursuit of Perfect System, loads of reviews and all sorts coming. And then we've got the Munich high-end show in May, which I'll be attending for the full 4 days. And the video and audio quality coverage of that show is going to be off the charts. So anyway, back to Bristol. Let's focus on that. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit that thumbs up like button if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so that you get a nudge for every time we create a new video. I hope you like this as a new scene for a recording in, something a little bit different to the usual pitch black listening room that you normally see me in. So I hope you like it. I apologise for the little tree that's up in the background there. This used to be a bedroom and it's now an office, so I haven't had a chance to take that down. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you soon, and take care. Thanks for watching.